بينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداع إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون.
O believers, fasting is prescribed for you as it was for those before you, so that you may become mindful. Fast for a prescribed number of days, but whoever of you is ill or on a journey, then let them fast an equal number of days after Ramadan. For those who can only fast with extreme difficulty, compensation can be made by feeding a needy person for every day not fasted. But whoever volunteers to give more, it is better for them. And to fast is better for you, if only you knew. Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed as a guide for humanity with clear proofs of guidance and the decisive authority. So whoever is present this month, let them fast. But whoever is ill or on a journey, then let them fast an equal number of days after Ramadan. Allah intends ease for you, not hardship, so that you may complete the prescribed period and proclaim the greatness of Allah for guiding you, and perhaps you will be grateful. And when my servants ask you, O Prophet, about me, I am truly near. I respond to one's prayer when they call upon me, so let them respond with obedience to me and believe in me. Perhaps they will be guided to the right way.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Ayub and Brother Okasha Yusuf. Alhamdulillah, we're going to go right into the program, inshallah. This is the month of Ramadan, month of fasting, and we do fast in the month of Ramadan in order to have sound fasting, good fasting. We need to have good health. Need to have good health. And walaikum assalam. So health is the topic today. We're going to discuss about health, how to be healthy. We have sound health in order to have quality fasting. This is what we're going to work on, inshallah. We have a wonderful team of doctors and psychologists came from Carewell Healthcare, who are going to educate us how to be healthy. At the same time, do quality fasting, good fasting, inshallah. We know that, brothers and sisters, fasting is directly related to our health. Fasting means we are not eating or drinking anything from dawn to sunset. One with not so great health, it's difficult for the person to fast. There are people with disease, chronic illness. Depend on the illness, sometimes it's not difficult for them, it's not easy for them to fast. So therefore, having a good health is something is very important, even in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So our great team of doctors and psychologists and other helps, they're going to explain to us the relationship between having a good health and fasting. Also, we want to know the specialty they work on with the care health and what kind of service they provide to us and how can we get quick access to them when we need it. All right, this is what we expect them to do. So they're going to make it really clear for us. Inshallah, stay behind and will be benefited from this program, inshallah. I just want to throw some numbers before our doctors, we give it to them for the discussion. Do you know, first of all, we need to ask ourselves question, how healthy we are as community. This is something is very important. We ask ourselves a question, how healthy we are. How healthy we are as a country, right? The statistic shows that every 40 seconds, there is a stroke and or heart attack, every 40 seconds. As I am finishing saying what I am saying, there is someone who is suffering from heart attack or stroke in this country every 40 seconds. This is something very, very important to pay attention to, because the stroke or heart attack can leave someone in a devastating health condition, can leave someone to paralyzed, and the heart condition in a critical condition of the heart, this heart attack or a stroke could do. Do you know that about 40 million people in this country are diabetic? 40 million people in this country are diabetic. The doctors, you can come over here. We have room to sit. We have chairs. Sawat, get some more chairs if you want. Have a seat. Alaikum salam. Welcome. Have a seat, please. About 40 million people in this country diabetic. Any idea how much money it takes to take care of these people? 40 million diabetic, $500 billion. We spend about $500 billion a year to take care of 40 million diabetic people. There are about 119 million people in this country are hypertensive. They have high blood pressure. And about $200 billion to be spent to take care of them in this country. And there is a nickname for high blood pressure, right? There is a nickname for high blood pressure, which is called silent killer. Silent killer. That simply means that high blood pressure could be such that it could damage your organs in the body. It could damage your organs in the body before you know it. So a young man came to our hospital in his early 20s on dialysis. I asked him, how long ago you have been diagnosed with kidney failure? He said, few weeks ago. So in his early 20s, he is already on dialysis. I asked him what caused it. Did they find out? He said, I had high blood pressure, I didn't know. I had high blood pressure, I didn't know. So that's why high blood pressure, hypertension is called silent killer. we have obesity. About every third to fourth person in this country are obese. So these are the picture of our country when you look into the health. This is how healthy we are, if you want to say that way. So as you can see, this is something very serious we need to pay attention to. If every third or fourth person is obese, obesity can give birth to high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. And this is something very important for us to pay attention to. And to make it worse, good percentage of people don't go to doctor. With all the access we have to medical care, 12 to 15% of the people do not go to doctor. And if you ask them, good number of them, they don't have any plan to go to doctors. As this young man, as I said, that in his early 20s, he lost his kidneys. If he were to have annual physical, it could have been detected in earlier stage rather than going into kidney failure. So this is something very important. We need to have annual health screening in order to just to know that if there are any concern, of our medical health. So our doctors here, they're going to explain to us, they're going to give us different disease we want to talk about, diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure. So I would say just pick one from there and then continue from there.
Absolutely.
I don't want to introduce you because I think I'll fall short introducing you. You introduce yourself and then take one of the topics at a time, inshallah, and take it from there. All right? Thank you.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Thank you so much for everyone having us here, part of your congregation today. My name is Dr. Habib Nazir. I'm sitting up here with my partners, Dr. Ali Sarayo, Dr. Shoaib Chaudhry. We are part of Tier 1 health providers. We are contractors working at Carewell Health, the local community hospital here in East Orange. And we're very excited to be here along with our team over on the side tables to provide some information about basic health screening today during this health fair event. So like Imam Yusuf said, one of the basic things that you can do that's most important for your health is to know about your health, to be empowered by the numbers related to your health, and to know what potential problems, if any, you may have, and early detection. More people in this world will spend time and effort in getting routine oil changes done on their vehicle, but will not do routine health checkups for their own life. It's just the way society is and how we live, and our job and duty is to educate everybody and to welcome you always to the physicians to help you out in any way we can. The best way to cure and prevent any type of disease is with early detection. But God forbid if you do ever have any problems, I do want to welcome you always to your resources like we have here at our family health clinic at the hospital. We're available at any time. You can just come right in. If you don't know what to do, just come into the lobby and ask for help, and we'll start taking care of you as best as we can. We also have tons of resources available on the side table there. And then there's always the website that you can always reach out to. And so briefly, I just wanted to talk about three major topics, which I think are the most important to anybody's basic health care. It's the foundation of your health care, and that's going to be your blood pressure, your blood sugar, and your weight. These three individual parameters together can really cause havoc in your life. If you think about it, as we gain weight, for instance, our bodies get bigger, sometimes double in size, but our organs inside don't actually grow like that. And so the stress that your heart is experiencing managing your weight, let's say at 150 pounds or 180 pounds, and if you go up to 300 pounds, for instance, that's almost double the effort that your organs have to put out to help maintaining your body. Blood pressure is a very easy thing to actually improve. One of the really good things about blood pressure is we have tons of naturopathic and we have tons of medications that help in managing blood pressure. Even just 30 minutes of exercise most days a week can help control your blood pressure. It can help improve your blood pressure. Sometimes even that is not enough, and we have very good medications that have very, very acceptable, if none, side effects to help control your blood pressure. It's a very manageable disease. There is no reason we shouldn't be managing our blood pressure. If our blood pressure stays out of control, it can lead to things like stroke. It can lead to things like kidney failure. And these can, of course, cause significant distress in your life. And not just in your life, in all the loved ones around you as well. Blood sugar is also an absolutely important metric to keep an eye on, especially as the world is evolving. Our food is also evolving. The way our food is being processed and made, even though we think we are getting the most healthiest food, sometimes even the way the animals are being raised is not really the most acceptable way. And so it's so important as society is moving forward, we keep an eye on our blood sugar. Blood sugar can be affected by sweets, sodas, desserts, for sure. But also, it's part of our genetics, right? Some of our genetic makeup will predispose us, meaning we are destined, because of our genetic makeup, to have high blood pressure or to have high blood sugar. And so, once again, blood sugar is another metric or finding that we can very easily control. Right? You can control it with diet modification, you can control it with medications, and you can control it with exercise. Then the last thing I wanted to segue into is weight. Weight is always a hot topic in our society, and rightfully so. Like I said earlier, as we gain weight, that puts more stress on our vital organs to support all this mass that we have to move around. But also, weight itself directly contributes to high blood pressure and to your blood sugar. And so even reductions of your weight, 5 to 10, 15%, you can start seeing a significant improvement in things like your blood pressure, your blood sugar. And so, these are the three things I wanted to talk about. And we have a little station set up where everyone can kind of just get your blood sugar, take a look at that, and we can check your blood pressure and just kind of give you an idea of where you are right now. And, if you want to explore working on that anymore, we have tons of resources available on the side table. And a really important topic, as doctors of medicine, we talk about these diseases with medications that we can cure or try to help improve. But a really important topic that doesn't always get light shined on it the way I think it should, and it respects that, is our behavioral health, our mental health. Our mental health is so important. So I'm actually very proud to have Dr. Sarayo here. He's a psychiatrist, board-certified psychiatrist here at the hospital as well. And we're partners together. And he manages and helps treat patients that are facing battles of the mental health disease. And I'll tell you, as we treat your blood pressure and we improve your blood sugar and we improve your weight, it also helps your mental health. Mental health is such a taboo topic, unfortunately, in our society, but we are very proud to talk about mental health, and we're very proud to offer resources for mental health help if anybody needs it. Never be hesitant. It's okay to come and talk in privacy and talk proudly with your provider or your loved one about your mental health and seek help in any way that you need. And once again, that's a great resource that we have available to offer. I didn't want to bore everyone too much with too much deep med school lecturing. I mean, that's why we suffered and went to school for it. We kept it pretty superficial. But we are here for everybody in the city of East Orange. Very excited to be back in the hospital. You may have heard the hospital itself was having some hardship for some time, but we're very honored that we are now turning the corner. We're improving our services at the hospital. We're improving our resources available for the community, for our patients in this community. And it's a great honor and blessing to be a partnership, to have a partnership with the hospital and to be able to help everyone in this community. What I'll do is I'll stop yapping away, and but we're going to hang out up here, and we'll be on the side tables. If anybody has any questions, you want to come up and chat, we'd love to meet everybody. Once again, thank you so much for having us part of your community. It was a beautiful Nikah ceremony as well, being gone through that myself. So it was an honor to be present in that with your community together. And thank you so much for having us. We'll have them. Okay, we'll share the mic with the other docs here. Here you go.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having us again. Like Dr. Nazir was saying, my name is Dr. Ali Sarayo. I'm a psychiatrist, and we care our patients at the hospital. We treat all types of disorders from anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. We have an inpatient service. We also offer outpatient services, and we do some screenings like a PHQ-9 we have set up in the back. So please, and a lot of these days we see a lot of self-medication, a lot of substance use, there's a lot of co-occurring disorders. So that's where we treat these things together, and we work with the patients and figure these things out as all as one. So please, any questions for us, please let us know. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, hi, I'll piggyback on that. Hi, everybody. My name is Marie. I'm the clinical supervisor of outpatient behavioral health at Carewell Health. I hope everyone's having a good day. So this is our medical team, correct? I'm on the clinical social work side of things. So me and my team would be the people that you would talk to about what's happening in your life, any struggles, some things to just like keep awareness of is any like changes in habits and behaviors. I know seems like you guys have a really nice community. You guys see each other a lot. So you can probably tell when one of your friends, one of your peers are maybe not doing their best. You want to look out for like changes in habits and behavior, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, eating too much, not being hungry, things like that. So, and it's good that you have a community where you guys can kind of keep an eye out for each other, So that's really something very special. And it was really cool to see the wedding before. Very cool. So yeah, we offer outpatient behavioral health. We do telehealth, so you don't have to come in all the time. We're at Carewell Health at 240 Central Ave. So behavioral health is in the, outpatient behavioral health is in the old Kessler building. It's called the East Pavilion, so that's across the street from the BP gas station on Central Ave. But we do our services in person, virtually phone, or virtually video. We offer individual therapy, group therapy, and sometimes, if you need it, medication management to kind of help with your mental health a little bit. So we offer those services. Okay, and if anyone has any questions or are interested in booking an intake, we are at that table right there in the middle. That's Stella. That is my colleague. So we both do outpatient behavioral health. Great, thank you. I like this thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your good words towards our good health. We want to invite Barbara to give us few words about the Carewell and their services. Barbara is the one contact person for me, actually, who worked really hard to put this program together. So we're going to hear from Barbara about the services Carewell provide, and also in the event of someone is ill, how we can get to the service as quick as we can, right? Thank you.
First, I would like to wish everybody a happy holiday, many blessings. Thank you for having us. We're honored to be a part of the congregation and come here to educate everybody on better health. Mr. Yusuf has been a significant impact for us as the community hospital to help to educate everybody that needs us and cares for us. This team right here, excellent, excellent providers. They are patient-driven, passionate about what we do, and there's nothing that we will not do for the community. My colleagues in the back, as you well know, are Stella and Marie. And then I have my two young ladies who are community liaisons, Kiara and Tanya, who represent CareWell and go out and do community events at different charities. They go to community events and organizationally. They set up nursing homes and rehab centers. So we are very, very well versed in the community. If anybody needs anything at all, don't hesitate. Mr. Yusuf has my personal number. If you want to do it in private and you want some help, please speak to Mr. Yusuf and he will reach out to me and I will connect you to any kind of services that you need. And I want to say thank you for having us and wish you many blessings for your holiday. And I'm going to pass it to my colleague.
Just hold it. Thank you. She said it all pretty much. Once again, I'm Tanya Flood from CareWell Health Medical Center. This is our passion. This is the closest hospital in our community. We lost a lot of hospitals in the nearby areas. So we drive on our passion. We strive for 5 for being your community hospital. We have a table over there that has a lot of information of all the services that we offer. Like we said, we have a family health center. So when you're looking or need a primary care doctor, we have women health services, we have physical therapy. Anything that you may need, we can handle, we can take care of you. So please remember, we are your community hospital and we're here to support the community. So please come over and see us at the table so you can get some education and then also to get your blood pressure checked. We're doing blood pressure checks and maybe some glucose testings. So please come over to the table and just know it's all about knowing your numbers. We have to take our health into our hands and be very healthy so we can succeed in life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have access to if we need medical care, right? Anybody has any question for the doctors? Is there a question?
I said the people with no insurance, do you guys help them? People with no insurance?
No insurance. Surely, that's a yes, right? Anybody else? Question?
So I heard that you're testing the blood pressure as well as glucose level. I know that that's affected by diet. So we are fasting. So would that kind of throw off the reading, or would that mess up the reading, or should we do the reading at like our average eating consumption rate? Like, I guess that's my question, like about like fasting and doing these tests compared to our regular eating schedules.
Thank you. That's a great question. So what we do is we like to monitor your blood pressure multiple times, right? So one time is a very good screening tool, right? But if we have, say, 4 or 5 data points of your blood pressure, then we have a good idea of generally which trends you're going in. And so today is mostly just an initial screening just to get an idea of what your blood pressure is. It may be a little bit affected because of fasting, but generally underlying hypertension is not directly going to be impacted by, if, you know, I think we're now almost 9 hours into the fast today. So by now it should be, you know, if you have high blood pressure, regardless of your diet at this point, we should have some idea by just these screening tools. But definitely, like you said and alluded to, getting multiple readings is going to be the key here. You get a reading today during this fasting time right now, You can get a reading this evening if you have the machine at home. You can also get them at the local pharmacy. They have the machines there where you can get it checked. So you keep an eye on your blood pressure. And if you see that it's consistently over 120 over 80, the top number is 120, the bottom number is 80, 120 over 80, then definitely we want to bring you in or at least have you follow up with your primary doctor to talk about your blood pressure. Same thing with blood sugar. We actually consider fasting blood sugar. We take that in for account for what the blood sugar values are. So we calculate for that. But once again, that's another test. We like to get multiple data points on that to have an idea of where do you really lie when it comes to your blood sugar values. Does that make sense? Yeah, excellent. That's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Who has it? Okay, so we'll take those questions later. We have a pharmacy here also. Isn't that nice? You have a prescription from the doctor. Now you're wondering where you're going to go, which pharmacy. And the pharmacists are going to explain to us how quickly and conveniently we get our medication, right? You're going to introduce yourself, right? And then give us the access.
So hi, good afternoon, everyone. Ramadan Mubarak. So we are from Washington Shaw Pharmacy. My name is Chintan. We are one of the local community pharmacy located in East Orange. We are located at 90 Washington Street, East Orange. It's right at the junction where Park and Washington Street is. We offer free deliveries, free pickup for the medications, prescriptions. So delivery for the medication, and we do free pickup as well for the all prescriptions that you might have. Once you get discharged from the hospital, they do give sometimes the original prescriptions, which we can try to pick up from you guys, and then deliver the medication as well. We are open from Monday to Friday, like around morning 8 to 7 in the evening. Saturdays from 9 to 2. Sundays, just in case, we are always closed, but just in case if any kind of emergency comes up, then you can always reach out to us at the pharmacy number. We do regularly check our voicemails, and if any kind of emergency is there on Sunday, we do try to help you with the antibiotic medications. Apart from that, all your medications, most of the time it is covered by the insurance. There is nothing to worry, but all the cash patients who doesn't have the insurance and always worried about paying a lot of money for the medications, we do offer them on a cheaper price, a discounted price. We don't charge them much out of pocket. We always try to help all the patients who doesn't have the insurance, giving them the discounted price. What we pay to the vendor, we try to charge the same amount to the cash patient. Also, we try to help them packaging the medication. All elderly patients who sometimes doesn't remember to take the medication, or they forget to take the medication, miss the dosage, all those things, we try to do packaging for those kind of patients, so it becomes much easier for all of them to take medication on a timely manner. They don't miss the dose, and they don't even have to remember anything. On timely manner, every 2 weeks or every month base, we automatic refill medications, do the packaging, and deliver directly to the doorsteps, so they don't even have to go outside. Let's say weather is bad, don't worry, we are still always there available. So we try to help them out. Once again, this is Washington Shaw Pharmacy, and we are located at 90 Washington Street, East Orange. So do reach out to us if you guys need any kind of help with the medication. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. As you are talking, actually, there is a brother with the prescription ready to go. Oh, okay. All right. Someone else has question here? You have another? So you're going to go to Dawood, right?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Just, I came in a little late, but I was following it on my phone, the discussion. I don't know whether I missed anything. If any one of the doctors talked about interaction with natural medicine, many of us, try to eat healthy and tib nabawi. We try to follow the tib, the medicine, the Prophet. So what do you all, or any one of you, what do you recommend in terms of diet? And can you speak on that in terms of keeping healthy? What should be recommended to the community at large?
Thank you, Dawood.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Dawood. As far as diet, I think the three main things that people have to consider is, diet has to do with energy and calories. So the three main things, well, the four main things that I focus on is just really your calories, how much protein you take in, carbs, and fats. But we're Muslim, so I'll just say that the Prophet ﷺ said that when it comes to eating, we should fill our bellies with 1/3 food, 1/3 water, and 1/3 air. That's what he said. So I think we live in a time where we just consume a good amount. So, but if you, what does your diet consist of now, Brother Dawood? Vegetable, fruits, and nuts. They say, yeah, they say that the best diet now to be consuming is the Mediterranean diet. It supposedly has the best, it's supposed to be the healthiest for you. So I would recommend the Mediterranean diet. There's a lot of family doctors that are prescribing the ketogenic diet as well. And that's mainly consists of just high protein and almost no carbs. Because the main problem is just overconsumption of carbs. And yeah. What do you say about meat? I think vegan diets are great, but I personally myself consume a good amount of meat. So I think protein is okay. I think consuming protein is okay. I eat a good amount of chicken. I eat goat. Goat is supposed to be as lean as chicken actually. But I think protein is okay. Meat is okay. Yeah, brother. Yeah, carbs is like rice, bread. Yeah, potatoes, chips, all the things that are just bad for you. All the things that taste good, yeah. Yeah, fried potatoes. Well, wings, like the outside of the wings, sometimes like they fry wings. Oh, sorry. Potatoes, yeah, potatoes are carbs. Um, yeah, you could steam them. Fried is bad. Fried is always bad, yeah. Yeah. But I just came off of a diet, the ketogenic diet, and that I wasn't able to consume any carbs, even potatoes. So it all depends on what your body needs. Yeah, brother. Yeah, sweet potatoes are supposed to be a little bit better for you, but yeah, but yeah, those are good. Yeah. What's up, brother? Walaikum salam. Yeah. Yeah, quinoa is good. All the legumes, like dal. Do you eat dal? Those are good. Lentils, everything like that. Yeah.
The thing, I'll just chime in. I just want to chime in. The thing about diet is that, it's about exactly. It's about moderations. It's about eating a balanced diet and consistently eating a balanced diet. If we start having a balanced diet today is Saturday, and I expect to have some drastic change in a week, that's an unrealistic expectation. Diet is it's like that every day for years and years, you're just building good habits, building good routines, slowly providing your body the energy you need. And so it's really the key is to really changing your mindset about how you eat, when you eat, how much you're eating, what types of food you're consuming. You want to make a whole shift towards that. So balanced diet, I never say just avoid all carbs. I love carbs. I'm a victim of carbs myself. I love them, right? Generally, we joke around that the tastiest foods are probably the least healthiest foods. But it's okay to have that once in a while, for sure. But that shouldn't be the main diet for us every single day, 7 days a week. We should not be eating like that. We should be eating healthy. We should be eating smaller portions. We should incorporate fruits, vegetables, nuts, have some rice as well. You don't have to cut all this out, but it should just be balanced. Does that make sense? Go ahead, brother.
The sugar increase.
Yeah. So things like carbs, like we're talking about, they require a lot of insulin to break down and process in our body. That's what comes from the pancreas, and that's probably what the discussion was going around. And that's part of controlling your blood sugar, is eating a balanced diet, so you don't get these these erratic spikes in your blood sugar. Fiber is so healthy. Absolutely. Thank you for reminding me that. Fiber is absolutely healthy. Keeps your bowel regimen healthy as well, which is so important, because the toxic byproducts that are produced from as this food is broken down, we need to process them and get them out of our body as well. Fiber is an excellent way of helping us do that. Correct.
Date sugar, honey.
Yeah. I will tell you my personal belief in sugars, and then I'll tell you how we are supposed to approach it with our patients as well. They're kind of similar. I'm a little bit more extreme in my habits, to be quite honest. I genuinely try to avoid anything that has added sugars. Natural sugars are going to occur in our fruits. There's going to be in our vegetables. It's going to be part of our products that we're eating. Sometimes when we're cooking the dishes at home, you throw a little sugar in the pot. That is, I can't really control that. But added sugars, I try to avoid. In our chais or our teas, for instance, or if you drink coffee, if you drink soda. Listen, in medicine, unfortunately, sometimes from a doctor's perspective, the attitude sometimes is do as we say, not as we do. But I don't believe that. I like to practice by example. So, I love sodas, I'll admit it, but I drink diet soda. In my mind, it gives me a little bit of peace of mind that I'm not having this added sugar type of component to my diet, right? And so going back to the sugar question is, generally, I think it's a really good habit to try to avoid added sugars. Highly processed foods have that as well. High complex carbohydrates. These things break down into sugar products as well. The breads, the rice, and things like that. So once again, it all just comes back to in moderation. You want to do the brown sugar talk?
I think they're all the same.
Yeah. Sugar is sugar.
Yes.
I apologize. I wouldn't be able to say as a professional and with expert advice about that. I think.
It's a trick. If they say brown sugar is better, it's a trick. That's what we got to know about it.
Yeah. It's just more expensive sugar. There you go. Yeah. Honey's great. Honey's actually good. Honey's naturally occurring, right? And so it comes from the nature. As a matter of fact, honey, as we're going into this allergy season, a little bit of honey and hot water, it's quite healthy, especially if you source honey from the area that you live in. It exposes you to some of the allergens that are out there. It can also help during allergy season, kind of builds your immunity. It builds your body's exposure to some of these items. So, honey is a great source. Once again, you don't want to be having 3-4 tablespoons of honey in your tea as well, in moderation. Thank you, everyone, for the questions. Any questions from our sisters? I was wondering if you have any. Please. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. So I have a question. So I'm trying to do a soup diet to make sure my sugar stays under control. So is there a certain type of beans that I should stay away from that will cause, added sugar? Or not added sugar, but like the carbs in these type of beans? I do a lot of lentil, chickpeas, carrots, split peas like that. So I do a lot of soups. Try to stay away from the bread and everything. But once in a while, yes, I will I'll eat some bread. And then I'll do a lot of brown rice, every now and then. But I'm more of a soup person. So
Thank you. Lentils are a great soup to have that part of your soup diet, great source of proteins. Vegetables are part of your soup. It's great as well. Just with like I said earlier, lentils are a great component of the soup. Vegetables are a great component of your soup. When you're doing the soup diets, I'm a fan of these diets. I'm a fan of like this, every few weeks you kind of reset your system, you go through a cleanse. I'm a big fan of them. I think it's good as long as it's healthy and safe. I think it's also good and develops willpower and control. It gives you control of your life. So I'm a big proponent of it. I would just be careful with the soups. Sometimes they tend to have high salt component, right? And so you want to try to avoid that as well, and try to keep it as natural as possible. Yep.
Natural sweeteners.
Moderation. I would retort back to saying in moderation. Absolutely.
Rather use date sugar.
Yeah, date sugar from
Dates.
kajurs, like date sugars. Yeah, absolutely. Please.
How does the glycemic index, like foods on the glycemic index, how does that affect our blood sugar? I know, like, for example, like things like white bread is high
Right.
glycemic index, so like it would be like a higher spike, I believe.
Correct.
And like whole grain bread is like lower. It's still gonna spike you because it's still like,
Correct.
It is,
Correct.
Moderation.
Yeah. No, that's great. And it's kind of like the repetitive theme of today, but it's also the repetitive theme of our life, and that's in moderation again. Once again, we want to avoid these spikes, right? But they're natural. It's going to happen. It's a normal process. It's how the body metabolizes. But you want to try to limit how much your blood sugar spike and for how long they stay that high, right? And so that gives your body the ability to try to process what you ate, keep your blood sugar under control. Nowadays they even have these continuous blood sugar monitoring devices. You may have seen people that have these tiny little stickers on their arms, or sometimes they have it on their belly, and it's connected to their smartphone, and it's telling you your blood sugar constantly, and you're getting this reading. And I'm a big fan of data, and the more data you have, especially of your own body, you can start analyzing that data. There's so many resources now available. You can actually see different items or different food products in your diet and how it's affecting you directly. And I'm a big fan of these smartwatches and these fitness band trackers and monitoring your steps and knowing what your heart rate is all the time. I'm a huge fan of this. I see when my heart rate, my watch gives me a little buzz. I know when my heart rate's going high, and I'm like, oh, wow, I wasn't even running or doing anything. It brings this to your mind. I know that when I've only walked 4,000 steps in one day, when I'm normally trying to be at 15,000, it comes into my mind and it reminds me I need to keep active and stay active. And so these ways of monitoring your data, I'm a big fan of it. And so going back to your question, like doing the routine screening, going and seeing your doctor at least once a year, getting your blood pressure checked, getting your glucose, you're doing a finger stick and getting your blood glucose measured. These are great data points that will truly empower you and put you back in control of your own healthcare. Oh, please. Do you want to take that mic there? Thank you.
I'll give it to her. Assalamualaikum. I just wanted to ask, can we go over the adverse effects of extreme dieting? Like, there's a lot of people I know who they diet, but in the very unhealthy way, such as only having one meal that's very low in calories and nutrients, and that's the only meal they would have. But, and it's an attempt to lose weight and, all the pressure there is to lose weight and everything. But can we really go over how unhealthy that is for someone in terms of their mental as well as physical health?
Very important question.
Yeah, as a very important question. Thank you so much for that. And it's like I'm a broken record. It'll go back to the key point for when it comes to dieting as well is going to be moderation. And what you said was super important. Generally, the body does not like anything in extremes. Okay, so extreme dieting is not healthy at all for you. I'm not a fan of that, professionally or personally. It's super important for your body to have adequate nutrition and nutritional support for its function. So many times, actually, I've seen this and I've heard this. And if you go on the social medias and you're scrolling, and you'll see this, people will talk about this. It's, the extreme diet, and you lose 10 pounds over a month, for instance. And then you start hearing people talking about skin changes. They start talking about their hair is thinning or falling out, or you notice the nails are changing, right? And then, of course, your mood is also affected. I don't know about everybody, but I know my brain is connected to my stomach, and when I'm really hungry, I feel it, and my mood feels it. So yeah, it's definitely not the healthiest way to diet, and most importantly, it's not sustainable. And if you lose weight drastically, you will gain it back, and you will gain it back faster than it took you to lose it. It's just not how we function. The best way for our body is in moderation. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again, but it's everything is in moderation. I'm a fan of doing diets like where you are calorie counting, for instance, okay, where you are watching the types of food that you're eating. You're in protein-rich diets and not complete absent of carbs, but you're reducing the carbs, for instance, right? And that's a sustainable diet to approach. I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. I'm a big fan of fasting. I'm a Muslim. We're big fans of fasting, right? Ramadan is a perfect example of intermittent fasting, as a matter of fact. And as a matter of fact, you can actually see some of our fellow members of our communities, they actually gain weight during Ramadan, and you kind of scratch your head and you're wondering, because it's like, all day you go without eating, and then for iftar you have 4 equivalent of meals. And so once again, that's an extreme consumption of calories. So that's a great question. My best answer for that would be dieting is best in moderation. And, we're looking for sustainability, not for short-term bursts. I know there's a lot of social pressures that we are experiencing as a community, as a whole, as society is, but I try not to fall under the peer pressures of that. We just continue to practice what we know is tried and true and safe and healthy for us. Please. So, yeah, the blood sugar devices. In medicine is a very interesting concept. We have this concept, we call it risk versus benefit. So as long as the benefits of something are outweighing the risks, we generally favor them. So, there's risks in everything you do, 100%. And having this small little sticker with a tiny little, very tiny needle that's pierced into you, and just in the skin, and I think it's got a little battery on it, and it's transmitting the data to the phone. Is there some risk because of that device itself? I think there's probably some perceived risks. I don't think there's been many proven risks when I say like researched and studied wise. But of course, there you could also get a little local infection or an irritation because of it. Some people are allergic to the glue, right? And so these are some things that, of course, they happen. And of course, you go online, undoubtedly you will hear about it. We're talking about risks right now, and probably our phones will pop up some story later in the day related to it. But generally, the benefits outweigh the risks, in my opinion, and my understanding of the data. And one of the biggest benefits, again, is it's empowering you with data about your own health and how you feel. Now, if you're a healthy individual and you don't have high blood sugar, I don't think you need to have one of these devices on you. I think that's probably a little extreme. But if you're someone who does have diabetes and your blood sugar has been very hard to control, then this is a great data source for you. And so how you can adjust your diet and adjust your medication regimen with your doctor's guidance on how to control your blood sugar in those situations, right? Same thing goes for, I talked about these fitness trackers like the watch. I'm wearing this watch and, is there some like frequency thing coming from this? That's a real question. These are not hocus pocus things. These are real concerns. You're right. But generally, I believe that in my life, I'm getting more benefit than what the risk of that is, or at least what I've been told what that is. And so that's how we balance a lot of these things. Does that answer that question? I know that was kind of like I kind of danced around it a little bit. I was trying not to be so political either, but I wanted to just be genuinely honest and kind of share how I look at some of these things in my life. For instance, I don't keep a constant blood sugar monitoring device on my body because alhamdulillah, I don't have diabetes. And so I don't need that. But what I do is I go to the doctor every 6 months. I get my blood work done. I check my A1C level, which lets me know how my blood sugar has been for the last 3 months. And so that lets me know, okay, things are okay. Continue on the path that I'm on. There you go. Yeah, so that question for everyone here in the front, if you couldn't hear, was what if they used one of these devices for 6 months and captured the data and kind of understood a routine and then took it off? And I think that's a great idea. Absolutely. Sure. Yeah. So the water question is a phenomenal question. It's always, everybody wants a perfect quantitative answer. How many cups of water should I drink every day? And sometimes, I don't know if you've seen people, they're walking around with these like gallon jugs of water or those cups, the Stanley cups. I actually love all that. I'm like, oh, that's good. Everyone's drinking more water. That's good. Yeah, water is super important for your health. Keeping your body hydrated is very important. Our body is like 85% basically water, right? That's what our body's consumed of or are made up of. And so it's very important for all your organs for you to be adequately hydrated. Barring you don't have any medical conditions that restrict how much water you should be having, I tell everybody, those 250 milliliter bottles of water, like that bottle of water that's right back there on the table like that. Yeah. So at least 2 of those a day is a great start for you. That doesn't mean you just wake up and you have 2 and you're good to go. You have that throughout the day, especially during Ramadan's a little bit tricky. But that's why we start our fasts with foods like yogurt in the morning and stuff like that that have some hydration to it that help us throughout the day. And then segueing into your question about kidney health, the best method or the best thing you can do for your kidney is to control your blood sugar and control your blood pressure. And adequately hydrating yourself helps your kidneys flush out the toxins from your body. controlling your blood pressure and controlling your blood sugar are the two easiest and most important things that you can do for your kidney health. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Those are great questions. Very, very, go, please. Just,
I have a question.
yes, doctor.
To the doctors. Actually, to all the doctors. I'll ask one at a time, right? So, Dawood is an attorney at the community. Dawood is asking questions. I pick on him all the time. It's friendship. Right, Dawood? Ready? So, Dawood is a 50-year-old male. Like it? You take 50. I know you do. That's what I'm saying. 50-year-old Dawood came to you, and he's concerned because he has borderline sugar, borderline diabetic. What would be the advice to him?
To me, I would say is to monitor the sugar level, but also I would try to lose some weight initially. At least 5 pounds, increase your exercise, go for more walks. To me, walking at least 30 minutes, 3 times, 4 times a week, that's very important. And then also monitoring how many times we're eating carbs throughout the day. Are we eating it 3 times, 4 times to monitor that sugar spikes? Maybe you try to keep it to 2 spikes, where you could fast a little bit. Are you a breakfast guy? So eat the breakfast and have lunch, or try to have lunch and dinner so that way you're not spiking it all throughout the day. That's going to help you out. Sorry.
I'm going to ask a different
didn't-
question to you.
Okay, well, I didn't know that we were going to take a board exam, an oral board exam. But Dr. Ali, who's our psychiatrist, I think he answered that very well. But, borderline blood values, and it's a real question, borderline blood values as we start aging are very important for us to not ignore these signs. We talked about blood pressure, blood sugar, and weight, but there's many other things that we discuss with our patients when you come into your primary care office, including your cholesterol level. Right? And so as you start approaching middle age and start having borderline blood values that are elevated, then we have to start really thinking about not just aggressive lifestyle modifications. We need to make some aggressive changes so that we can continue to live long and a healthier long life. But then we may need to also explore some medications to help support you at that point. So, I would encourage everybody to make sure you're following up with your primary care doctor at least once a year. Make sure you get that blood test done. That will really give us the best guidance and objective data on how we can help you continue to live a healthier life, inshallah.
Thank you. So diet and exercise. That's how we summarize it? Okay. And moderation. Now, Dawood now 60-year-old. You still take it. Dawood is 60-year-old, no other health risk except he is found to have high cholesterol. You kind of answered that question. I just want to have you elaborate a little bit more.
So what happens is in medicine, we're very fortunate now. We have so much data available. We're able to really risk stratify patients based on the data points. And so what does risk stratification mean? Risk stratification is what we are looking for is what are the things related to your health that will lead to severe disability and or death. And as we get older, some of those things change. When you are in your mid decades of your life, your 5th generation or your 6th generation, your 50s and 60s, heart disease is a major disease. Heart disease is the leading disease that we have in the United States, in the Western civilized world. So When your cholesterol, when you're younger, if you're in your 20s or 30s and you have high cholesterol, your doctor will tell you lifestyle modifications, diet and exercise. Okay. But when you enter into your 60s and you have high cholesterol, your doctor will recommend using medications to help lower your cholesterol, lower the bad cholesterol, and help raise the good cholesterol. And so, you know, along with this, I will tell you, starting at the age of 40 for females, we are really aggressively pushing for screening testing to begin. We aggressively check for screening testing in men. Screening testing includes mammogram testing, looking for signs, early signs of breast cancer, looking for colon cancer in men in the early ages, looking for signs of prostate cancer, you know, smoking cessation. And there's so many things we can go on and on about. Not smoking is one of the best things you can do and if you are smoking, stop smoking. We look for cancer screening in the lungs for men and women. We look for vessel diseases by doing ultrasounds. And this is not stuff that you have to do all the time, but these are routine scheduled screening things that we'll do as you approach these ages and you're having these follow-up visits with your doctor. But it is really important to have these visits with your primary care doctor. And, you know, if you don't have a primary care doctor or you're having difficulty with insurance, for instance, the hospital has amazing resources, including a clinic that's available. I have a team of physicians that work there in the clinic and nurse practitioners and physician assistants that work with us there to help people in the community that don't have insurance, for instance, and to help people that can't find a primary care or get into an office. You can just walk right in. But yes, going back to what you said earlier, at that age, cholesterol, management of your cholesterol would be the most critical thing for us to do.
Thank you, Jazakallah khair. Sister, you have a question. Let me just ask third question to the doctor. Okay. So we had answer for the borderline diabetes, where they concluded, they answered that diet and exercise is the mainstay, main line, the first line of treatment, right? For the high cholesterol, depending on the age, maybe some diet and exercise, maybe if the patient is 40, 50, but Dawood is 60 now, sorry, Dawood, you have to take medicine. If you have high cholesterol, I don't know. I know you don't have high cholesterol. So similar question goes to patient comes with high blood pressure, borderline blood pressure. Borderline blood pressure.
So, you know, we have these criteria in healthcare, as you recall, that came up with blood pressure recommendations and guidelines. And the exact definition of high blood pressure, your primary doctor will go over with you, but it's 2 elevated blood pressure readings in separate visits to when you see your doctor before we declare that you have high blood pressure or hypertension. But generally, the target for blood pressure is going to be 120/80. And if your blood pressure is borderline, you can, we definitely recommend lifestyle modifications. We recommend low salt diet. Once again, trying to reduce the amount of salt that's in your diet because that unfortunately raises your blood pressure. And exercise as well, cardiovascular exercising, 30 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week of exercising can help control your blood pressure as well, and weight loss as well. 5 to 10% weight loss can help reduce your blood pressure. There's other things that we didn't go about, smoking cessation. If you have sleep apnea, which is where you're having a hard time sleeping at night and you're snoring and waking up a lot, if you're diagnosed with sleep apnea and we treat that, that can also actually help reduce your blood pressure. Stress management is absolutely important. That kind of segues into your mental health. practicing yoga, for instance, practicing calming techniques, things like that. These are all help contribute to controlling your blood pressure. If your blood pressure remains elevated, then we will have a discussion about starting blood pressure medication.
Thank you. I don't want to bore you with the questions again. I just want to make a point though. Before I make that point, just want to give you a little bit of a number again. 40 to 45%, the people get married. We had a marriage, right? Wedding to begin with. People are excited, they get married. But unfortunately, many marriages end up with divorce. About 40 to 45% of the marriage end up with divorce. 40, it depends on what kind of articles you're reading, what the sources. About 40% of the marriage end up with divorce. Okay, this is the information I want you to cook next few minutes, and we're gonna make a point after that. So from the high cholesterol, from the borderline diabetes, borderline cholesterol, borderline high blood pressure, we kind of got the answer from the doctors. What are the answers? Moderation of food, lifestyle change, and diet, right? Diet and lifestyle change. Diet and lifestyle change. Sounds familiar? What are you doing for last 18 days in Ramadan? Maybe not much of the exercise. However, we have changed our lifestyle last 18 days, right? Lifestyle change. We are not eating anything from dawn to the sunset. How easy it is to do. No food, no drink. This is the 18th day we are doing it. Most of us feeling good actually, right? Matter of fact, I just have to disclose my personal data here. My A1C was 7 6 months ago. So I know the trick a little bit. I went to have blood test yesterday, A1C is 6.7. It was 7 6 months ago. I'm just giving you this information. Diet and lifestyle change does help a lot. It's very beneficial. Fortunately for Muslims, Ramadan is naturally giving it to you. It is automatically giving you the lifestyle change, moderation of food, and a discipline where you are not eating certain hours of the day, right? So as a Muslim, since we have been doing it, many of us, it's easy for us. Sometimes we walk on the street, we see some delicious food, it's kind of enticing, isn't that it? You see a drink, smoothie someone is having, enticing. You want to have it. Its temptation is there. But for Muslims, we kind of saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us not to eat and drink in the day hours, therefore I'm not eating or drinking. But imagine a person who does not have that discipline in them, who don't have discipline. I'll give you a story. Once I had a patient who was 375 pounder. The patient weighs 375 pounds. We were talking, and at some point I was asking, I said, what is your typical lunch? 375. All three of us, if we stand on the scale, probably would not be 375. So this patient by himself, 375 pounds, and I asked him, what is your typical lunch? He said, most of the time I have a large pizza with 2-liter Diet Coke. 2-liter Diet Coke, it's a Diet Coke. He is very disciplined in diet drink, right? But whole large pizza. And then he was saying that I'm trying to lose weight. He's trying to lose weight. And you can see the expression on his face that he really wants to lose weight. But he is helpless, he cannot. He cannot really control the temptation of eating. And he failed that. But Ramadan, subhanAllah, disciplined us. If Okasha wants to have a nice smoothie at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, no matter how thirsty he is or hungry, he is going to say, Ramadan, sorry, right? You're going to tell your nafs, Ramadan, right, Ayub? Right? So I'm just telling you the willpower here, what the Ramadan is giving it to us, compared to someone who does not believe in fasting, right? And they didn't develop that willpower to hold themselves back from that drink. At the same time, the person is 375 pounds, right? So how the Ramadan is changing someone's willpower, not eat and not to eat. Choose what they want to eat and when they want to eat. This is the biggest willpower actually someone could develop from Ramadan. This is the biggest thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us as a gift, really. It's not hard to do once someone get used to. You know, we work with the non-Muslim environment where they are kind of surprised how you do it, right? But, you know, as long as you have the strong will, it happens. This is the bottom line here. So the Ramadan is actually planting a strong will in ourselves to change into this diet and the lifestyle. And as we heard from the doctors, exercise with moderation is going to make us healthy, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already sent this message 1400 years ago in the Quran. Kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. That the fasting has been prescribed to you as it has been prescribed to the people before you. There, so that you become righteous, you become muttaqi. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only ask us to pray 5 times a day, fast, you know, in the month of Ramadan, and stay away from things that He asks us to stay away from. All of these, if we want to just zoom out, we look into it, all of these are beneficial for us. And the modern medicine is telling us, intermittent fasting, how great it is for our health. Moderation, exercise, staying fit, how great it is for us to be. So this is a great thing. Ramadan is an opportunity, it's a blessing for us, reward-wise, spiritually, as well as physically and spiritually. So don't forget, I told you that 40-45% of the marriage end up with divorce. We come to that, inshallah. Let me get that question, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. So what advice can you give in the mental health for our youth? And what are some of the signs that we should look for as parents, you know, in our children, our young men, our daughters, because a lot of them are struggling. So what advice would you give to our youth? And what are some of the signs that the parents should look for?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. So we definitely want to look into, with our youth, definitely have them, obviously, main important thing is education, right? We want to make sure they're focused, they're going to school, they're keeping their grades up, they're participating in some extracurricular activities. They don't have too much downtime. To me, downtime, that's when stress starts coming in. A lot of influence from social media these days. You're seeing the external world. We want this, we want that. And it's hard to kind of stay in the now. To me, it's always staying in the now, keeping busy, keeping positive, working on your relationships with your family, working on yourself, and also your studies, because eventually we want to go, we want to be successful, and focus on these things. So if you see things like slipping in school, the grades are falling, they're hanging out with the wrong crowd, there's substance use going on, these days, New Jersey, a lot of dispensaries, a lot of cannabis use, it's kind of throwing kids off on the wrong track. So you want to kind of hone in on that, get them to the right therapist, kind of educate them about what's going on, try to educate what's happening, try to have a conversation with them, be their friend as a parent. You know, we want to educate them and make sure they're on the right path. Monitoring signs, are they sleeping okay? Is their mood okay? Are they irritated? Are they angry? Are they frustrated? What's going on? If they're not opening up to you, you want to kind of guide them to a counselor. You want to guide them to a right therapist so they get more education about this. If things are still failing, you may want to consider medication at that time, you know, to make sure the monitoring their anxiety is good, they're not falling into a depression, they're not isolating, they're not having suicidal thoughts, they're not wanting to harm themselves, others. That's where we want to monitor all these things. So educating them, monitoring them, and linking them to the right services. And these are things that we can help with for the children and for the community.
These are beautiful questions and beautiful answer, mashallah. Any other question, concern? Brother Dawood? Why don't I know it?
This other question is just regard to dairy. A lot of people, you know, doctors, physicians also, you know, caution you against dairy products and whatnot, and milk specifically. And my question is, you know, given to as Muslims, you know, Allah talks about the cattle and the benefits, what they have in their bellies, the milk that comes, in addition to the meat, the benefits of that, the ni'mah that Allah gives us. How do you see dairy, milk specifically, in terms of regular consumption?
Jazakallah khair.
Me personally, I'm lactose intolerant. You know, as we have grown up after, say, age 18, we lose that enzyme to break down milk. So we definitely want to monitor that. Too much dairy, we see a lot of fat in the food also. So we want to monitor that, could increase cholesterol levels for the body. So we want to do things in moderation. If you're able to digest it, you're not having an upset stomach or diarrhea, all these things with the dairy. And there are these days a lot of substitutes. You could use almond milk, different types of milks. There are all the plant-based milks that your body will be able to digest a little bit better. But if you're doing that, you also want to monitor if you're getting the vitamin D for some of these things and also the calcium. So you want to make sure you replenish the body with that, possibly a supplement, if you're using things that are non-milk based. Okay. Go a little bit more.
Brother Dawood, I would just say you should see how you respond to consuming the dairy. You know, and it's true, as you age, you become more lactose intolerant. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to consume it, no problem. Yeah, you can be.
Having a glass of milk at night.
Yeah, absolutely. You can consume milk, you can consume cheese.
Definitely not overdoing it.
Exactly.
You know, having a glass of milk is okay at nighttime, and sometimes cheese once a week or twice a week. If you're having a slice of pizza, not a problem. You just don't want to overdo all these things. Because the higher fat content in those things, higher cholesterol you're going to get from that.
I guess the reason I'm raising the question is again, the Quran, Allah talks about benefit to you from the cattle. There's some people who say no dairy.
Right.
It's not good food.
Right.
Quran didn't say that.
Right.
That's what I'm raising.
I also heard, it's an interesting fact that you brought up meat last time. But the Prophet ﷺ, he supposedly ate meat only twice a year during like Eid. Yeah, that's accurate. He would, yeah. It's not prohibited. I'm not an imam, Brother Dawood, but I know that for a fact. But also, he would eat, his diet was interesting. I mean, he was the best example. He had a very interesting diet before going out. So this is something that I read. Before he went out and he goes up to his cave, he would consume something that's sort of similar to oats. And then my brother over here, he asked about high glycemic index. Anything that's processed will have a higher glycemic index. So if you think of like cereals, potato chips, and these things, those just have a higher glycemic index. And then they hit your pancreas and gives you that insulin spike. Things such as dates, they have fiber in it. So the glycemic index it's still carbs, but the glycemic index is lower. So it'll actually release glucose into your bloodstream slower in the way that your body needs it. A lot of questions on nutrition, which is good.
Thank you very much. Great question. We are coming to the end of the program, inshallah. Just to add a comment to the answers the doctors gave about Daud's question. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, whenever he mentioned halal, he said tayyiban. Halal and tayyiban, right? So some scholars, the way they explained, halal, eating meat is halal. Eating sugary thing is halal. However, is it tayyiba for you? Is it good for you? So obviously for a diabetic patient, sugar is not good. Sugary drink is not good, right? So the way they explain whenever Quran halal and tayyiba means it's individualized. If someone has high cholesterol, maybe too much lean meat is not good. Too much fatty stuff is not good. So that's how they explained. Even though it's mentioned in the Quran, the cattle and all of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created for us to enjoy, yet it's individualized, customized for the person how they want to take it, right? This is how, that's just an addition to the answers we are given already. 40% to 45% of the marriages end up with divorce. This is the last area we're going to cover before the Salah, before we end it, inshallah. How Ramadan is going to help us give any contribution to reduce this number or eliminate this number, divorce. How is going to do that? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned in the hadith, Sahih hadith, and I'm going to start the hadith not word by word, and Ayub is going to finish the hadith. Right? You are married now, right? It doesn't apply to you. So Rasulullah said, if someone make you angry or want to argue with you and you are fasting, what are you going to do? Wonderful. Say it louder.
If somebody wants to argue with you while you're fasting, you tell them, I'm fasting, and you kind of walk away from the situation, not escalate it.
MashaAllah, may Allah bless you. How that's going to help us in the marriage, or how that's going to help us relationship with anybody we have, the brother, between the brothers, among the sisters, among the siblings, among the community members, how this is going to help us, this authentic hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that if someone make you angry, You just tell them you are fasting and you walk away from it, right? What is the most common cause of divorce? One of the most common cause of divorce. Finance, one of them, yes. Anybody else? Most common cause of divorce. Arguments, anger. All right, wonderful. The first one you said argument. Unnecessary argument is one of the main reason for divorce. Unnecessary argument. What do you say? As a psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist, I don't know, it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they say. The one of the main reason for divorce is unnecessary argument. Imagine you are fasting and you are practicing this deen and you remember this hadith all the time. And you come across there is some conflict and argument between you and your spouses. And you're fasting. And arguments comes to the point on the peak. And you say, I am fasting. Walk away from that. How is that going to solve problem? How is it going to benefit you? Right? The marriage end up with divorce with unnecessary argument. If you just say that I am fasting and walk away from that, you are walking away of the peak of the argument, peak of the anger. How many times people come to imam or come to the priest and then they say, oh, I didn't mean to divorce. I was angry. How many times that happens? I divorced because I uttered those words because I was angry. People become angry and they give divorce. They don't divorce someone with love. Do they? They don't say, oh, I love you, you're divorced. They don't do that. They divorce people, the couple divorce each other because they are angry. If you can walk away from this anger by saying, I am fasting, what a wonderful thing. I'm not advocating that you walk away from major issue you have in the family between the spouses. We are not advocating that. We are saying that for the time, that peak of the anger, to extinguish that, you walk away. And then you come later on when you are with your sense, now you sit down and talk and try to solve that problem. Ayub, when was the last time you went to take an exam with anger blowing out of your brain? You're taking a serious exam while you are angry. Do you do that? You don't do that. You don't go to exam hall, take a test while you are super angry, right? Life, every single thing is a trial in life. Marriage, argument, anger, all of these are trial of life, right? You are not going to make a big decision, announce few words that's going to make a big difference in your life, like divorce. How is going to help walking away from that by saying, I am fasting? No, I'm just saying that how wonderful it is, right? So if we can just do this practice of walking away from the anger, walking away from that doesn't mean that we are not going to solve the problem is there. It's a major problem there, but you solve it with the preparation. Using your brain, take the preparation that how you are not going to be angry in the process of solving that problem, right? That's how we can eliminate unnecessary emotional divorce in the society, and we can have better society that is going to help us. So Ramadan is one of the best tools that teaches us how to control our anger, right? If we can do that in 30 days, then we can do it for rest of the 11 months. Also, if we can practice. Wonderful. So with this, any comments or question or anything, Barbara? Do you have anything else to add here? Thank you very much. We appreciate really all of you coming out. We made our best effort to have a big crowd, but for some reason it happened. Also, it's a live stream going on. So some people, they say that, since it's live stream, we're going to just watch it from home. That's what's probably happening also. So, but we try to get best of the benefit out of this event. And any comment? Any last words from this? Okay, anything? Yeah, we appreciate your coming out, sacrificing your valuable time, really. And what we need is contact numbers when you need help, either in psychiatry or any other services Carewell Health provides. We want to have that in hand so that when we need, we are going to seek help from you. With that, we appreciate the audience who are sitting here. Maybe you have benefited from what we have discussed, and maybe you can just pass it on to the people who missed this. So with that, we'll close it. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa atubu ilayk, wa astaghfiruh.